Oh, okay. I think we're ready to go. Is everyone ready?
Sure. What's up, Donnie?
Haven't heard
Not
Donnie.
bad. How are you guys?
Yeah, there he is.
Good.
All right, let's rock it. I'll count us in. Three, two. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Brad Wren.
So after missing last week, I realized that I don't like to listen to the podcast. I want to be on the podcast.
That's right. Everyone wants to be on the podcast. David Hall.
Hey, 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 on location.
All right, cool. Donnie Spiker.
Brad, you don't listen to the show?
And William Westbrook.
So I actually don't listen to the ones I'm on. I don't like to hear myself talk, but I actually don't mind also listening if I miss it. I prefer to be on it, but it's cool to get a break and listen to it.
You get to hear David's fancy editing.
I do.
On today's show, find out what Simicube just revealed. Who took home the Coke Series title? There is a mod for iRacing? Does warming your tires actually work? Check out some new shifters. Is a belt tensioner worth it? And if you're starting all over again, what would you do different when building your rig?
That's right. Remember that you can follow along with us on your PC or your mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all of the great topics and products we'll discuss by visiting iRacersLounge.com. Select the show notes. We hope to see you there.
Okay, Brad, you got the first one. How real is iRacing? They ask.
Yeah, we got a video here from Jordan Gronkowski Sim Racing. He's a Brit. He's uh, he's comparing the iRacing FF 1600 at Noghill with the real thing. Did some racing for quite a few years. Um, I think he said that the two cars are not exactly the same, but close enough. Pretty interesting video. He runs a lap in real life, runs a lap in the sim. Um, the sim was quicker, but what was interesting was a lot of the lift points, brake points, turn in, and all that stuff was very similar. He compares a lot of the telemetry from the real car versus iRacing. One of the things he did say was to run the engine as hard as you can run it in the sim, it would blow up in real life. But it was kind of interesting. I mean, we've seen videos like this before, kind of comparing, a lap versus a lap. But to get somebody to kind of detail it and walk through it, I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah, so even though the lap times were a little off and top speeds and corner speeds were just a bit not the same, he did say the overall feeling of driving the car, how it felt to be in it, especially when you're racing around others, he said was really spot on, the feel of it.
Yeah, yeah, he did say. I mean, as far as the racing goes, I mean, I think that's the whole thing. I mean, it's again the racing. The cars are virtual, but the racing's real. It's you still get that same I don't say seat of the pants, but you get that same feeling. When you're racing real life. I mean, I raced years ago, and to get even to you get the same gut feelings. When you do it in the sim, even versus when you do it in real life.
How important is it to us to see videos like this? So when I get in the IL-15 Delara car for the first time this week at the Nordschleife, am I getting a realistic experience? And so, based on videos like this and other examples we've seen of it, I can assume so. I can assume I'm getting something that's 95% there.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you're, I guess, somewhat looking to get out of it. I know we've got a video later in the script that kind of refutes all of that. That we'll talk about as well. But I mean, look, it's from a training aspect. I think uh, there's a lot of good things that can be done in the sim. I mean, from we see professional race teams use sims now for car setup. So depending on again what you've got now, Again, we don't have the Ferrari sim or the GM sim where it's millions of dollars into that. We've got iRacing. But there's a reason that real drivers get on the service to practice.
All right, moving on to Dave Cam. And Dave Cam's video this week, stop what you're doing and race this combination now. And I already previewed it. It's the new Dallara IL-15 on the Nordschleife. It seems like me and Dave Cam are running the same series, but he runs a different time of day than I do, with him being from Europe. But it was fun to watch his race. And it was also, and the reason I wanted to bring this up really was, because we'll talk about my results and race results, is this car is hard. And at the end of this video, he goes through after the race and he shows all the incidents of all the different people in the race that had a problem. And there were quite a few, and this car is hard to hold on to. And I don't know, it was a little reassuring to me that I'm not the only person who's been wrecking this week. So, yeah, shout out to Dave Cam. Great video. This car is big fun, guys. He said on this video it's only like 650 kilograms or kilos or whatever of weight, which I presume is very lightweight in pounds, but um, it's fun. It doesn't have a lot of downforce, and the back end will step out if you're not careful. So that brings us to the next one, which was also a Dave Cam, and this was fun as well. But it was last week's Skip Barber, and so same thing. I just wanted to mention, shout out to Dave for running such a cool series like the Ringmeister, and so I've been having a blast with it. And there's a lot of people in there. If you look at what races are populated in the evenings when I race, this is one of the top ones.
So, Mike, did you do skippies at the ring?
Oh yeah, yeah, and we got a
How,
win
how,
there.
okay, how'd you find it? Because I have only done them at Le Mans, and that was enough. I couldn't imagine trying to get these things around the ring with a full grid.
You just can't overdrive it in the corners and stuff. I mean, or it'll just come around on you. So you have to just know the limit of the car.
I don't think I've run a Skippy since I was a rookie. Forever ago.
The tires feel really good on the Skiffy though. So I'm pretty sure they got the latest and greatest. So you should revisit it. It's pretty fun. Donnie, do we need safety cars in special events?
Apparently, Dirk Hoops or Rubert thinks so. Says iRacing, please. We're in 2025. After the race at Petit Le Mans, I still wonder why there hasn't been a safety car in endurance racing for years. Nobody at iRacing seems to care, even though it's completely normal in real motorsports. You guys race all these special events on the road. What do you guys think?
Yes. Yes, 1,000 times
Well,
yes.
it's definitely
Yeah, we
a
lost you.
part that's missing, but they've got to fix the entire restart system because when you do a safety car with an endurance race, you have to deal with wave buys and then getting all the classes back in the right order. Um, and iRacing just has not fixed that, and I don't know that they're going to anytime soon. Your option that I don't know if this guy knows about it or not is to run with the major series because when they do them, they run live cautions for most of the upper splits. So we had them when we ran Road Atlanta. It was pretty handy. Or was it Road Atlanta? I think it was. Yeah.
Well, that's a good workaround as a private league like the majors. But I would like to see this in official. But I think the point is how long have we had endurance racing in iRacing? It's it's been a while. I mean, you think that this would have come by now, I think is his point.
Well, I mean, we've had this discussion multiple times. We just had it this past week in the chat. There's certain things that just at some point they need to put the resources together to fix it. Proper multi-class race starts is like that's the first thing that needs to get fixed. I mean, I get safety cars, full course yellows, code 60s, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter, but we need to have proper race starts, and it's ridiculous that in 2025 that we don't have a proper multi-class race start. I mean, I was thinking about this last night running Imola. We split the field so far. I don't even think in the GT3s we ran. We didn't even run for 30 seconds before we took the green. It's just I don't know. I mean, Will, I was thinking this week I'd almost be willing to just not even have a gap anymore, or maybe leave a 10 car lead gap between classes, so where at least you could be somewhere close to the start finish. You know, where you actually get a start, and you're not having to work through 3 chicanes and everything else before you can ever actually start your race.
If you
Yeah.
do that, you're going to be running into all the LMP2s and GTPs that wreck on lap one.
So be it.
I think sometimes they leave way too much of a gap. 5-10 seconds is plenty. Sometimes we're way back there, and it's ridiculous. Um, I'm on record here, and probably a lot of other places saying this is something I want, one of my top requests. But having done a few races with the full course yellow league hosted, whatever, and then listening to your nightmare stories from NIS, my enthusiasm has waned just slightly because I don't want an hour and a half of my 10-hour race to be under the safety car. I still want it, but I'm kind of getting a little concerned on the official side. You know, majors is a league; it's gonna be hopefully a little bit better officiated and driven. But on the official side, I still want it. I'm still very excited for it, but I'm getting a little concerned.
Well, I just think there's got to be a way that they could introduce it. I don't. Again, there's lots of conversations on the forums about how to do it. If it's someone wrecks, if they had to tow. I mean, I don't know. It's just something needs to be done because again, they put rain into the system, and that's helped a little bit, but it, it's just a 10-hour race when all you're doing is just going out and basically hot lapping gets old to some degree.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it a couple times. Like I said, I just don't want to spend 20% of my race under the safety car. So, I mean, I don't know, there's got to be a way to do it.
Now I'm more familiar with IMSA,
The way
but
that
does the WEC have full course yellows?
Yes, I do.
Yes, but they also have code 60, which is
the way that the majors does it is what they need to do. Sorry, the way they do it on the majors is something that they're going to have to use something along those lines where it's not you don't get a caution like in NIS every time somebody spins. It's basically when a car is not able to get off the track by itself, essentially, which is the way real road course cautions tend to be, right? So it'd have to be something along those lines, not just any time a car is sideways.
Yeah, but how many times during, let's just use Petite for last weekend, how many times does the car have to tow? Do we have any idea what those numbers are? Because if it's 15, 16, that's going to be rough.
That's
Yeah,
probably
no, I
pretty high with the rain that happened. Yeah.
yeah, no, I agree. That's what I said. I don't know. I mean, I hate to introduce something that's random. I don't know, random cautions, but it's just I don't know. Something needs to be done to help make it a little more. I don't know. It's just I don't know. If you get behind, you can never get caught back up, and that's the problem. And a lot of
The
times you get behind at no fault of your own, but at that point, you're chasing. You're just chasing yourself for the next 12 hours, 24 hours, or whatever it is.
I mean, this post is calling for a yellow, and this week in the forums after the big rain event, they were calling for reds. Like, why don't we have a red flag when it rains this much? Now, look, in that scenario, they just need to fix it so it doesn't rain so much that it should be a red flag, and then they don't have to have red flags.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Are
All right.
code 60s automatically set, or does the driver have to monitor that? Like, does the car? That's a dumb question. Never mind.
No, they have to. I believe they basically have to monitor whether they go to. I don't know if it's not pace speed, it's not pit speed, but yeah, I mean when it comes out of it, they can then restart. But I don't know. Like I said, it's just eh, if anything, just please fix the race starts. Let's just start there.
One thing at a time. All right. William, how about we got still going?
Yep, TikTok video of I think it's a caddy during either IMSA or Petite. It has been absolutely destroyed on the front. missing the radiator, missing both wheels, missing everything, and somehow it's still driving around the track. I have to believe this is netcode, and the person who's watching the replay is not seeing what the person driving the car is seeing, but still kind of funny.
Yep, a bit amusing. All right, I got this one. Petite top split winners. Team Redline in the GTT, and then BMW M Team Redline for the GTP, and the LMP2 was Delatraz Automotive. And then we do have a video of that VCO Esports put up of the BMW M Team Redline taking that GTP win at the Petit Le Mans, and it was driven by Chris Lulham, who was the co-driver with Max Verstappen at the Nordschleife recently in the real race. Anyway, Chris was behind the wheel, and he actually passed this guy by dive. It wasn't a dive bomb; it was a late brake maneuver into like the second to last corner before the checkered flag. Like it was really dicey there at the end, but a great clean pass for the win, and was pretty neat to see that after such a long race.
Look, everybody knows I'm not a fan of most things Red Bull adjacent, but that move pulled by Chris, it was on the second to last lap, I think, or maybe third to last lap, to get that win was very impressive. As how deep he was able to brake without locking it up and actually make the move stick. That was one of the better moves I've seen in quite a while.
Oh, I thought it was the last lap. So you're saying it was like 2 to go or something?
Yeah, there's still like 3 minutes on the clock when he makes the move.
Oh, I see. And then we had the discussion after the fact here. Uh, what do you think about that, Brad? I mean, did you weigh in any of these forum posts?
Yeah, I mean, I went through them, and we had rain forecast, so you know, I think it was it 20% chance of rain, and as typical iRacing, you had some splits who had like a 10-minute shower, and then we had splits that had 9 hours of rain. Um, so there's a post about that. Then there's another post. We got a guy that was in the night. He says, I had a great time in the 9 wet hours of Georgia. He enjoyed it, and I guess again, I'm not opposed to the rain, but lots of talk in regards to too much rain. Even got a post. Greg West chimed in asking to get a copy of a replay. Say to anyone that has a replay from the race that had super heavy rain, please reach out to me. This was not expected, and we need the data from the replay file to analyze it. So again, I think it goes back to I think I've said before, just the system itself just doesn't work the way that I think they expect it to work. Um, there's no reason to have if I mean we had a 60% chance of rain here on Tuesday. It rained for an hour, not 9 hours. I mean, and that was a 60% chance of rain. So something's still wrong. I mean, I go back to Daytona. There wasn't a whole lot of forecast for rain for Daytona. Some splits had none. What did we have? We had 13 hours of rain. Um, so I still think they got a lot of work to do.
Well, at least Greg has acknowledged there might be a problem, and they're at least looking at it. And so, yeah, I think mixed reaction on the forums is what I saw. Some people were really unhappy about it because they wrecked out and whatever. Other people calling for the red flag, like I said, and other people were happy because they, took advantage of it and were able to run well.
Yeah, one of the biggest complaints is the spray. I mean, we noticed this in the grassroots race that we had at Watkins Glen. I cannot imagine that it's that hard to see in the spray. I mean, you could not see anything.
That's true, but we've got people like Tony Kanai saying this is exactly like it is in real life. So, I mean, I've never driven a race car in the rain. I have no idea how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I know, but it's just, and you can't. I mean, there's times where you can't get offline to try to get out of it either. So I don't know.
The
There's
spray
something the
might be
sim.
right.
Sorry, there's something that the sim misses from real life, and it's something you can't articulate sometimes with words, but there's that feel that you'll have in real life. Obviously, I've never driven a race car, but just driving real cars compared to the sim, like you have a different sense about you when you're in the real world. So maybe that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, I mean, I think from there's more audio clues, there's sound clues, there's all that, where you have an idea where someone is, near you. We don't have reverb. We can't hear, where a car is. I go back to the old, Dale Earnhardt could see the air. Well, he just had a way of perception of an understanding of where other cars were, whether he saw them or not, from whether it's audio clues or whatever it is. Yes, I think you're spot on, Donnie. I think there's things that we just will never be able to get. That it's the physical stuff that we can't get in the sim.
Right, so it makes it that much harder to drive with the right amount of spray. So the spray visually might be the same, but without the other cues that you're saying we're missing, it makes it harder. And so maybe the spray needs to just come down 5% or something as a workaround to that. But let's keep moving. We got a lot going on here today. Brad, we have a game changer, says Jaxer.
Yeah, I got a video here from Jaxer. Says this mod is perfect for iRacing. It's called iRefine, and what it does is, I guess, it links in with the UI. Adds options to where you can pre-register for races. You can queue up races to where you can. I think you could even go in. I mean, like you could register for races over the next day. So that it's as they continue to make changes where races are going off every hour or so, or every 30 minutes. By the time you finish, you don't have time to go out and re-register. You can already be put into it. So we kind of had some banter back and forth in the chat about this, or maybe Discord. Is this real? Is it legit? um, Apparently iRacing's okay with it, even though it's somehow modifying the web-based UI, which is really weird. I don't know. I haven't touched it. I don't race enough to have to worry about missing the next race. So, yeah.
What other mods has iRacing had throughout the years? This is the first I'm hearing of any.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw the video, Donnie, because he shows the regular UI, but there's like new buttons right there. Like, oh, I didn't see those buttons before, but that's what that software does is it injects buttons right into their software that have new functionality that iRacing doesn't have. I don't know of any other mods is the answer. So there was a comment on the video. A commenter said he asked somebody at iRacing about is this kosher, and apparently the answer was yeah, as long as it's not the actual sim or something along those lines. William, you had a little reservations about this in the discussion.
Well, I mean, I trust Zach Jaxers. I don't think he's doing anything shady. He posted the whole reply he got from iRacing, but I don't like the wording of should be. It says, as long as it's not modifying the actual sim, the iRacing dev it says it should be fine. I don't think it'll probably get popped for anything, but I could see iRacing having a change of heart and being like, no, we don't like anything modifying our UI.
What prevents them from modifying in the sim?
Easy anti-cheat.
Yeah, easy anti-cheat.
So is there an easy way for them to protect the code of the UI so this couldn't be
Oh, yeah, if they
possible?
wanted to. Yeah, if they wanted to, they could detect any changes and ban it.
Well, GT Jason 1, let's start modding in a trophy room.
There you go. Like, look, this software, I forget the name of it. It had some really neat features. Like, and even the same day that the video came out, I had a situation. I was running the Nordschleife, and I get out of the race, and they have the qualifying separate, which is at the half hour, where the race is at the top of the hour. But anyway, by the time I get out of the race, if I'm not quick, I miss the qualifying. And I was thinking, wow, if I had this, I could have scheduled myself for the qualifying while I was still in the race. And it sounds perfect. I mean, and so I'm like looking at it, and then William or somebody was saying, well, is this legal? Or is this, I mean, is iRacing going to flag this as a cheat? And so, yeah, it's kind of weird.
Well, if anybody does want it, it's on GitHub. Jason Murray at iRefined. And yeah, I don't know. I'll probably never give it a go, but it's interesting.
Yeah, there's a link in Jaxter's video for it if you want to grab it. I think the only thing I would actually use for it is the pre-register for races. Other than that, I don't see me using any of those features.
I'll probably hold off for now and see how it goes. All right, Donnie, what if there were no more Smurfs?
Yes, Duncan Watts posted in the forums, what if there were no more Smurfs? And he posts, now I'm not intending to start a discussion on whether Smurfs are good or bad for the service. That's something that's been done to death in the past, and everyone has their own opinions. Esports events means that high-rated drivers need to protect their iRating to ensure they are driving in the top split of special events. But the question has always been around how those same people drive on secondary counts where they may or may not care about their iRating.
Right. So Duncan Watts, who's, by the way, famous for his series challenge page, which I really talked about a lot over the summer as I walked through the series challenge, where he tracks, how you do in each race. It's a pretty cool website. You can check him out at challenge.duncanwatts.com. But anyway, he made a new website at his website at challenge.duncanwatts.com/smurfs, where he shows a list of guys with their main iRating in one column and then their merged iRating in another. And the idea is he went through and recalculated a new iRating. He calls it merged iRating, where it basically recalculates all the races from the and finishes from the first and the second account together as if they were one. And so the idea is if the merged iRating is roughly the same as their regular main iRating, then they're running their Smurf account legit. But if there's a big discrepancy, yeah, what are they doing? Like there's a couple of them that are have big discrepancies on this list, and there's others that are really close. So what does it tell us? I don't know.
I mean, I don't really have a problem with Smurfs as long as you attempt to get it at least close to what your actual rating should be. And in the list of these people we've got, all these people are going to be top split anyway, even on their lower accounts. So that's a little bit less of an issue. The issue I have is people who have a second account that like they only their main account's what 3,500, 4,000. They have a second account they only use for special events. You can't protest them in iRacing because they're technically not tanking, but they've got a 1,800 second account that they join a special event with and then just wipe the field. That's my only problem with Smurfs. These other guys, I mean, they have to race in lower races at least a little bit to go through there, but eventually I think they mostly get close to where they're supposed to be.
The cream rises to the top, right?
Yeah, but I mean, there's one on here. The main account is 10,000. The other one's 4,600. That's a huge discrepancy. And like William said, it's the ones where you get in and you know, I mean, you look and there's a guy with an 1,800 I rating and he's 3 seconds faster than everybody else. It's like, huh? How does that work?
Yeah, so that one is about the only one on this list I think is a problem because if you look into the data a little bit, he's got 385 races and his second account's still only 4,500 when his main account's 10,000. Again, I don't think it's quite such an issue because that's still going to be top split. He's going to be racing with the people he should be anyway, but yeah, that's kind of not in the spirit of what we're trying to do with iRating.
Well, and I mean, should iRacing enforce it? I mean, I don't think they will because they make money off of it. I mean, doesn't it go against the sporting code? Doesn't it go against the uh, the spirit of the sporting code?
I would think so to a degree. I don't know. I think it's a gray area.
I mean, okay. So here we go. Max Verstappen signs up for a race as Hans whatever, and nobody knows that it's him. But that's what he went and when he ran undercover or whatever at the Nurburgring to do stuff. But he signs up in an F2 race as Hans whatever and wipes the field. Are we okay with that? I see no difference between those two.
What about Cup drivers and going down to Xfinity?
It's the same thing, but again, it's the an NFL team's not going to go back and play a high school team, are they? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Okay, and then William, how about the position display is completely nonsensical?
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, the forum post by Dirk Rosen. Looks like they had some. I kind of think it's decent issues with the server during Petit Le Mans because their new UI is showing them in 41st place out of 117 when there's only 58 cars in the race. So I don't know.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Personally, something I think got desynced with the server or something like that. I don't know, and I've not seen anybody post about this happening besides these guys. So, did we get an official reply to it? I don't think I've seen it.
No, looks like it doubled the field and added the pace car.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe there was a glitch. Maybe when they were loading from qualifying to the race, it had a connection glitch or something.
Now there was another post about the special event where a staff member was saying, um, "Don't go looking through the while you're in sim in the special event where you could drill in and look at the names and positions and everything. If you
That's on
do
the
that
script.
too much, it'll crash."
Yep, it happened to me. It happened to me a couple weeks ago before a race, and I was looking, trying to see. I don't know what I was doing. I was, it's a new UI, so I'm like, oh, let me click. I had time to kill. I'm like, look at this, and all of a sudden, just it crashed. So yeah, it happened to me.
All right, I got this one. Sim racing will never be realistic. We got a YouTube video here, and this guy. Let me see who he is. I like to give credit here. Race Comms 87. So he's a new channel I found. Anyway, he talks about why sim racing will never be realistic. Number one, financial limitations. Two, hardware limitations. Three, compute power. Four, the objective of the software. Five, we can't have it all. And in a summary, visual, auditory, and tactical feedback is what we're getting only. And we're missing all that seat of your pants and all that kind of stuff. So he was trying to compare, and involved in real racing, and so he was trying to compare how the sim is to the real racing. And he talks about like these commercial titles that we run like iRacing, they only go to a certain point, like the compute power. Like they're designed to run Windows 11 on a very moderate computer with a moderate graphics card, and so they do have limitations because of that. And so there are financial and hardware and compute limitations. What is the objective of iRacing? Is it so that's why he says he can't have it all. So it was a pretty good video.
But I think anytime we see things like this, I think you have to think, what are you trying to get out of it? You know, why do what why do we spend the money? Why do we do this? What are we trying to get out of it? Am I looking for it to be the most realistic thing in the world? No, I want it to be reasonable, realistic, but I want to get enjoyment out of it. This is my hobby. This is what I enjoy doing, and I'm okay with that. It doesn't have to be exactly one to one, and I'm okay with that. I like to race. I enjoyed when I did it for real. It's something that I've always wanted to do again. I can't financially afford it, so that's what I do this.
Yeah, I think about that a lot, honestly. Like, what am I doing this for? It's like my fourth or fifth hobby that I've decided to pick up on, and you know what? I sit in the rig and I'm good with what I have. I don't feel like I need to upgrade anymore. I got to a point where I enjoy it. I got it to where I want it. And then the Sims specifically, like, what do I enjoy out of it? I I And I'm still trying to find that, I guess. But other than that, like I don't know if I need to like continue pursuing the perfect rig or anything to make it more realistic. I'll never know if it's realistic or like the FOV. The FOV police are out there, but it's almost kind of personal perspective for some.
Well, look,
As
there's
long as long as you're not sitting in the back seat driving.
look, Donnie, I mean, your perspective of you're searching around looking for cars, you're trying different things, the stock, the late model, and having fun with it. And so I commend you for, jumping around. There's so much to do in iRacing, and I think people forget that. They get pigeonholed into a car or a certain genre of racing. Dude, go dirt racing, go try something else.
Yeah, not just that, but like sometimes I'll sit here and I'll just start feeling guilty of all the tracks I've bought that I've raced maybe once or maybe haven't even raced at all. And then I feel like I've got to do it to get my quote money's worth. But I think I'm over that. And I think I'm going to find and narrow myself down to just a couple cars and just kind of not perfect because I won't, but at least get better at a specific type of car, maybe type of racing.
Now, I'm going to go off script and inject a story real quick here before we move forward. Steve Phelps yesterday on Dale Jr.'s podcast announced 750 horsepower for the Gen 7 on tracks shorter than a mile and a half. Yay! But
Steve O'Donnell, but yeah.
Steve O'Donnell, sorry, yeah. And so good. So finally they listened, but I want to talk about it from an iRacing perspective. I'm sure the iRacing is ready to give us this at starting with the, probably the race after the Daytona 500, right? And so, are you guys excited about the change, about the horsepower? Is this going to make this car livable, or just a little bit better, or just more problems because it's still a vacuum?
I don't think it's going to do anything. I really don't. I think Dale Jr. said that made the best statement. Until you get rid of the stuff that's underneath, I don't think it does anything. If you're going to go to the short tracks, you can give them the horsepower, then take the underbody off. You need to do something. I think Tony said it in the chat. The faster you go, the more downforce you create in the underbody. I just don't think what 70 horsepower is going to make any difference at all. Unfortunately.
Well, I like that they're listening. At least they are, And then there's rumor we're going to the 36-week points and whatever. So, but anyway, I just want to say, I appreciate iRacing modifying that car to match what NASCAR does. And they've always been really good at keeping up with that. They got a lot of lead time. Here we are in early October. That we don't need it till February, guys. So let's have it in time. That'd be great.
When would you think would get it?
I'd hope the first race after Daytona, whatever. What is it?
Well, you wouldn't need it until
Phoenix?
Phoenix will be the first time you'd
Yeah,
need it. So
Phoenix would be the first race, right?
You don't think they bring it on in that December build?
unless they've got the data, I know they've got a test scheduled for North Wilkesboro in November, according to O'Donnell. So
That's right. They got to test before they make up their mind. So he said even at that test, if they're not happy, then they'll have to keep searching for other avenues.
Well, it's a good point. If it needs to come out in a build, it needs to come out in December, right? When the build comes out, or it would have to wait till March. They've been known to release certain things like that, though, in the middle of their 12 weeks, though. In the past, they've done that. All right, moving on. Brad, no assist, no compromise.
yeah, we got a Instagram post here from Racer Headquarters and J.R. Hildebrand introducing the Blackbird 66 MK1. So IndyCar veteran J.R. Hildebrand, I guess, has put together this car. It's built to strip away the excess and reveal the soul of racing. So it's almost no downforce, big tires, all mechanical grip. Um, Pretty interesting. Um, Not sure where this thing is gonna run. I'm sure it's gonna be some sort of test thing. I think he's been doing Pikes Peak for the last few years. I think he did the. I think he bought a. he bought a Richard Kyle Petty car and ran Pikes Peak with it. So it's interesting.
It is. It's very anti-downforce, isn't it? There's not a wing you can see on it, and then 1,250 horsepower, 14,000 RPMs. Now look, this is a fantasy dream car to try to get the discussion going again. Is this the way that motorsports should go? I almost think so. I think downforce has ruined racing.
It has
In
in a
every
lot of
form.
ways.
In every form.
What keeps this car on the ground?
You're
Your own
you pull
speed
your right foot off that throttle. That's
off the
how.
throttle, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was a time where it was mechanical downforce. That's what you had to do. I mean, there was a time in F1 where it wasn't the underbodies; it was mechanical downforce. Look, let's go back to, you can go back to the late '70s and the early '80s in NASCAR. It was mechanical grip before we got into the aero and all of that. There's always going to be aero involved in anything. I get that, but the complete reliance on, especially on the underbodies, to me is become an issue in certain series. Sports cars, it's okay. I'm not opposed to it. I think it's okay in certain series, but I think certain series it's definitely ruined it. Cup side, I think it's ruined it. I think in F1 it's gotten to the point where, again, when are you're gonna see all your passing done either in the pits or right at the start of the race, and you get nothing after that.
It looks like and reminds me of, after reading all the specs and everything, of the Dallara jet car. I affectionately call the Dallara IR01, I think it is, without any wings on it. Just cut all the wings off of it. There you go. It's the same car. Now look, if there was a sanctioning body that wanted to take this on, that would be cool. Would iRacing be able to help them? Would they be able to mock this car up and design it and see if it's realistic? Is it safe enough? Those kind of things before somebody actually invests.
I, I don't know. I think the problem is I think iRacing still needs data. So, I mean, I don't think you can just plug in some. I don't know. I don't know how their system works. I don't know if you can plug in parameters and whatnot, and you get an idea. It's one thing, I guess, when you're doing tracks, it's pretty easy to model that, but I don't know.
I think they should be able to input blueprints into it, possibly.
It's a fascinating concept, but yeah, kudos to JD Hildebrand. He's on the right track, guys. And NASCAR is a prime example. Get rid of the downforce and let's go racing. All right, let's keep going. Brad, another sim crashing bug. Oh, we
Yeah,
just
this is the
talked
one.
about that.
Yeah, that's the one you mentioned. So this is a post from Christian Challoner. Again, like Mike said, kind of clicking on the entries and stuff like that. Like I said, I had this happen right after the new UI had been released, and I'm just trying to expand them, and I'm looking, and all of a sudden, bam, right to desktop.
Yeah, so don't go looking at those standings. Uh-uh. All right. And then so Donnie, ready to quit? What's this one?
Yeah, GitHub, Get Good Racing from YouTube posted a video stating, "I almost quit sim racing, and here's why I didn't." Am I going to get a chance to see it? What did he have to say?
Yeah, so basically he boiled it down to 3 points. Stop chasing perfection. You'll never have that perfect lap or setup. Chase progress goals. I will break through the corner better, or the lap times will come more naturally. Work on goals of how of doing certain things like that. Find the joy in the challenge itself. You're trying to master a craft. Work on your long game.
Sounds like I should watch this video.
Well,
Well,
it's a
it's easy.
motivational kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, it's easy to get discouraged at times. I'll give example with, I've kind of given up on the oval side for now, so I'm going to focus on sports car. Well, as my I rating continues to increase, I'm getting up into higher, a little bit higher splits. Well, when I was, down to the 2K and below that, it was pretty easy to finish on the podium almost every time. Now the goal changes to a top 10. That's the goal now. If I can get a top 10, I'm happy. And then soon as from then it's going to be top fives, and then it's going to be, can I podium? So again, I think you have to set milestones and things you want to work on. I'm trying to work, like he says, I'm trying to intentionally get better at certain aspects of my race, whether it's braking, cornering, whatever it is, and I'm trying to think about those even more. So again, just set yourself up with little things and little goals, and it's much easier. But it's very easy to get completely discouraged, and we see it happen here. I mean, we see guys on the team that just get so discouraged, like, "Yep, I'm done," and they're gone. They never come back, or they're gone for months and months at a time.
Yeah. So I'm at a point where in IMSA I'm regularly either first or second split. So you're right, that mentality has to change from going, hey, I'm trying to win this race to, hey, I'm trying to do the best I can. And that has really helped me personally going into these races. If I finished seventh, that's maybe not the greatest result sometimes, but what split am I in? Am I racing people that should be faster than me? Did I do something stupid during the race that messed me up, or did I just get beat by somebody faster? That has really helped me. Now, I think I've gotten faster even over the past maybe 4 months, just kind of racing IMSA and the leagues. But that mindset shift going from if you don't, podium, it's a bad race, to did I do really well? And if I did, then I'm pretty happy with the outcome.
Yeah, racing out here, racing at night on my side of the country, I get thrown into top split regardless, and usually I'm racing a 5, 6, 7K. And my goal for those races are basically to beat my car number, or finish in the green with positive I rating. That's basically it. I know I'm not going to be up there running for the lead, so that's what I mainly shoot for.
Yeah, the third bullet point really hit home with me. What I've been doing recently: find the joy in the challenge itself. Running at the Nordschleife, just to run there and just to finish is a success. And so you got to wrap your mind around that. And then when you do well, it's like a cherry on top. And so again, the long game there is I'm mastering this track regardless of the car. I'm going from car to car to car, and I know the track really well now. So yeah, it's really coming together, and I'm finding a lot of joy in it.
You also have that added layer of the streaming. That's probably always going to provide you with some kind of fulfillment in a way.
It does. I get regulars that show up, and there's discussions. I'm talking during these races. We're having back and forth, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. The streaming definitely keeps me coming back too. Okay, William, we got a quick hit. The IndyCar game is going to be using the unique graphics engine.
Well, so this is about a 1 minute clip from an interview that Traction GD did with Steve Myers. And yeah, they talk about how the IndyCar will be on its own engine, NASCAR 25 is on Unreal, and that's, going to be some slight differences between the two games. But the Simcades, that they're different studios that they've acquired now, are all going to be using the same physics engine. So the driving between all their Simcade titles should be the similar. Not, I won't say the exact same, but very, very similar. Um, and he goes on to state how this is going to help them moving forward develop stuff across all their titles.
Yeah, that makes sense. That helps build a continuity between the brands. And I like the term simcade, because that's what it's going to be. It's not going to be a complete arcadey mess. There will be some levels of physics to it.
And we don't have a story for the NASCAR 2025, but I guess it's like for sale, and people are doing it, and
Yeah, we got Tony. Tony's going to buy it tomorrow. I believe it comes out for him. So we're going to have some teammates on it this weekend. So we'll be able to find out for sure.
and DJ EJ put up a photo. He had to go buy a Logitech wheel so he could run it on his console because none of his equipment works on console.
Yeah, if I'm going through that kind of effort, I'm just going to hop right on here. That is going to be meant. If I do pick it up, will be like I keep saying, before work on my couch, just to pass the time.
All right, I got this one. Which method is best? We have a video here from MF Henry. I don't know what MF stands for. But he does a nice little video here where he tries to quantify weaving methods, which one's faster, which one gives you the best times over a 4 lap period. And so he does some experiments, and he calls it weave, break, cool is one of them, where you weave, then you break, and then you let the tire cool a little bit. And then there's the one that he calls the Kimi, after Kimi Räikkönen, and the way he would typically warm his tires. And then I think the next one was,
By doing nothing.
is that doing nothing? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then what was the other one? It was
So you had brake magic, which that seemed to work better
you
before the
drag the
tire.
brake,
Yeah,
right?
drag the brake. That had more benefit before this last tire model.
Like
Then you got
he's
the heavy weaving, and then again the brake weave brake cool. So um, yeah, I mean as far as overall pace, the heavy weaving gave you the best lap time by lap 4. Weave brake cool was pretty close with an actual quicker. Your third lap was actually quicker. But look, fantastic. This has no bearing on half of the road courses that we do because we have the abbreviated pace lap. I mean, like I
Well,
said,
there's that, and then I mean this has been done before. I don't know if I've seen one since the tire model, so this might be the first one since the new tire model came out that I've seen. But consensus used to be it did a little bit, but it wasn't worth it. But now when I get into lobbies, I mean I see people weaving from the start, and I don't know, maybe it does something now. He says he's not a normal GT3 driver as well, so I have to wonder, just watching the video on some of his laps, how much of this is his tire warming technique and how much of it is his consistency. um, I don't know. I weave a little bit just to kind of make myself feel better, but
Is this
I
possible
don't
with
know.
the oval tires?
you'd think it behaves the same, but I don't know.
that I don't know. Again, we don't. You can't tell what you're getting because there's no temperature
Yeah,
recording in the oval
I don't.
tires.
I don't know if it was a Nebon video from like 5 years ago or a Dave Cam video, but I want to say, well, this was obviously several tire models ago, but nothing made a difference. I'm just curious because I see a lot of guys weaving, and part of me thinks like, are they doing it for the the immersion factor, or do they think it's warming their tires?
In real life, on an oval side, it's not about putting heat in your tires. It's about getting
Cleaning them off, right?
it's about cleaning them off. That's all it's about. And we don't have any sort of buildup on our tires in iRacing.
Because some guys, they just do it too much.
In the Ringmeister, I would say 30% of the drivers are doing heavy weaving at the beginning.
I mean,
It's
go
Go ahead,
ahead.
Brad. In IMSA, it's getting up there to a majority of the grid. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how long of a pace lap you've got, you can get, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 degrees of temp in them, but I don't know how much good that does in all truth and reality. I mean, I'm still that's where my biggest struggle is the first 2 laps on cold tires is where I continue to struggle and end up either lose positions or I'm just not confident enough going into the corners.
All
I
right,
don't have a problem at the beginning of the race so much. It's when I come out of the pits on cold tires is when I seem to struggle pretty badly with confidence.
all right, Brad. How about the 2025 eNASCAR Coke finale and watch party that the iRacers Lounge had?
Yeah, so we had a watch party Tuesday night. I had a good time. Had a couple listeners come in, and let's see, Disco Dave was there, and oh gosh, I shouldn't have even said his name because I can't remember the other guy's name. I feel bad. But
You know what? There's actually two Davids. There was a Disco Dave first, and then another David came on later. Disco Dave left, and David stayed, and you kept referring him to as Disco Dave, but he would keep answering you.
maybe so, maybe so. So, but yeah, no, we had a good time. So yeah, Homestead race was caution free, and Stephen Wilson took the cup. So it was a somewhat uneventful race. He pretty much led almost flag to flag, led 85 laps. It was good. I mean, wasn't the we didn't have all the traditional mess that we have in most of the Coke Series races.
I
So
was fixing to say, did it go caution free or almost caution free?
it was
'Cause I
caution
was
free.
I was gonna come join you guys after I did my 9 o'clock race, and it ended like before my race ended.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was
started
almost
with
an
the
intentional yellow. Sorry, Brad.
yeah, he's right. I mean, we came close to having one, but yeah, it started about 8:15, and yeah, I think it was done by, gosh, it was 9:30 done, if not by then. So yeah, I mean, it was good. Stephen Wilson, I think we spent more time having discussions about about their rigs that were set up and stuff on the cameras and stuff like that. So yeah, so final driver standings: top five: Stephen Wilson, Casey Kerwin, Vicente Salas, Zach Novak, and then Parker White. And then again, of course, top 20 of those will be locked in, have already requalified for next year, or at least for the eNASCAR free agency. The bottom five were Michael Guest, Christopher Hill, Seth the Merchant, Blaze Crawford, and then Malik Ray. Team standing, Inspire Motorsports took the win. Channel 199 was second. Third was Alt Williams Sim Racing. Can't say the other one. Rookie standings, Connor Yurashak took the win there. And then we did get a retirement. Jimmy Mullis is retired after 9 seasons. He has officially retired from the Coke Series.
Yeah, watching that video, Mike, of Vicente Salas breaking down his rig, and then I don't want this to sound pretentious in any way, but I don't know if that would be worth it for me. Breaking that down and then moving it to wherever he lives, to Charlotte. I don't know.
Now, were
Some
they?
commitment.
It wasn't his personal rig, right? It was one that they
So,
put together.
well, yeah. So SimSeats provided rigs, but all the guys brought their own peripherals. So they
Oh,
had
I
their own
see.
pedals, wheelbases, and stuff like that. But SimSeats provided all of the actual rigs because they had them all. You can see on the back of the Instagram post here, all the guys had their names and stuff on the backs of the seats. So yeah, they brought their own peripherals, but they were using the SimSeats chassis.
But as you're pointing out, Donnie, they actually set it up in his hotel room earlier in the week, and then they had to move it from the hotel into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I mean, man, setting it up not once but twice.
And then breaking it down and then putting it back up at home. Oh, man.
Yeah, I just buy new stuff so I don't have to touch my stuff at home. Yeah, that's
Oh,
the only way.
if you win, you get $100,000. So, Mike, you could have your 3 active pedals and be happy.
All right, Donnie, how about if Toyota and Mazda had a baby?
Yeah, this post is from, it's a forum post by Luca Murnrow. And, darn it, it just clicked away. Okay. He posted here, imagine if it isn't base content, Toyota and Mazda plan to co-develop the new MX-5 and GR86.
Whoa! So two of our most popular cars in iRacing, the Mazda MX-5 Cup and the Toyota GR86, potentially could become the same car. Here's my iRacing spin on this. How would we handle that in iRacing? Uh, you both the other ones retire, and we take on the new one.
They plan to co-develop each car together, or they plan to co-develop one car blending the two cars together? I'm confused.
I think it's where they actually produce one car and they just brand it Toyota and they also brand it as Mazda and they have separate names. This has happened before, I think, with Mazda and Nissan. With they had a back in the '90s they had a small car with a convertible top. Forget the name of it. Miata maybe.
It would be nice if there was a link to wherever this is coming from.
That's true. I mean, it is a forum post, and there was no link. And who knows? Is this AI and made up? I don't. I assume it's true.
I mean, Mazda spends a fortune in their development series through the MX-5 series and all of that. I mean, they spend a lot of money, um, put a lot of money into that series developing drivers. So I know Toyota does too, but I'm just I don't think they're wasn't Honda buying somebody was supposed to be buying wasn't Honda supposed to be buying somebody that never went through? Honda buying Nissan or something. There was Honda was buying somebody, but then it never went through.
Well, we'll have to see what the new car brings if we get a new car. Let's keep rolling. William, how about training for real races?
Yeah, this is a sponsored post on Traction GG for SimiCube and James Baldwin. Just explains, why he chooses to use SimiCube equipment, how it helps him prepare for real world racing. He says in the post that, he can tune his active pedal to pretty much be almost indistinguishable from the real world McLaren he drives, as far as the pedal stiffness and the ABS, what it feels like, and then how touchy the throttle is, because he says it's pretty touchy on the McLaren. So, yeah, we've seen something similar to this with some other sim teams, but just a real quick little 4-minute read.
Yeah, and we got a video from him later in the script here. We'll go over. All right, I got this one. Proper setup. Coanda Esports puts up uh, a Instagram post here with a short video about how they set up their Sebelt sim racing rigs, and they talk about angle of your arm, your shoulder, your wrist, what what angle your leg should be at. It's kind of a nice little reminder about ergonomics. And do I have it right? I guess yeah. Looking at this video, I probably do have it right.
Yeah, ergonomics are important, especially in a race car. So again, you want to try to get yourself in the points they bring up, and the reason I put this on there, I just think it's a good reminder for everybody is to think about that stuff. If you find yourself getting super tired on longer races, take a look at your seating position, take a look at your posture, how you're sitting in your rig. If you're too far away, you're having to hold your arms out. That's extra, energy you're using because you're too far away from your steering base or whatnot. So I mean, again, we think of ergonomics in day to day life. I run an industrial processing facility, so we think about ergonomics as we have people doing the same repetitive motions all day long. So we think about that stuff, and it transfers into every facet of life now. So again, we enjoy doing this stuff. So try to get yourself set up to where you're going to be comfortable. And if you're comfortable, you race better because there's no pain or anything. If your knees are hurting, then you need to maybe look at how you have your pedal deck placed. And are you cramped up? Are you having to stretch too far or reach or strain?
Yeah, I wish this had been a video when I was building my rig. I went through it, and luckily I've got everything mostly set up, kind of like it suggests. I know I need to tilt my seat back a little bit, but I've got to get some extra rig parts to do that, just because of how my seat's set. But other than that, my stuff is pretty well set up like it's supposed to be. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and it's a reminder that it would be nice to have equipment that is adjustable. Like when we were at the Sim Gaming Expo, I think it was the Sim Lab rig. It had this hand twist things you would twist, and the whole wheelbase could move forward, back, twist, up and down, angle, all this stuff, and then you just lock it down. And then, like we saw that one rig that where the seat had the sliders that go all the way back and forward, and it was real easy to move the pedals and everything. And so when you get a new rig to have that kind of adjustability in it so you can dial this stuff in easily. Because if you don't have that kind of thing, like you have an old P1X like me, you need to move something half an inch, it's a big deal to move it. All right, Brad, the IMSA Esports Global Championship signups are now open.
Yep, just a quick reminder here. So they have opened time attack pre-qualifying kicks off on has kicked off on October 6th. Don't miss your chance to secure a spot on the grid. So this is an to make this is you got to be pretty elite. But again, it is open to everybody. There are certain teams that will already be pre-qualified, but yeah, it just gives you an opportunity if you can get your team together and you have an opportunity. You're quick. You're gonna have to have a pretty high I rating, I'm sure, but you do have the chance to qualify your team into the IMSA Esports Global Championship. And these were pretty. I thought these were pretty entertaining races when they did this last year, so I'm looking forward to watching them again.
Yeah, I really liked watching them. Quickly though, it looks like registration is closed.
That was quick.
Yeah, the time attacks are still open, but if you have to register on the website as well, and you go to the website and it says we are sorry, but registration for 2025 has closed.
Okay, take
Yeah, that was
everything back I said.
2 days that was open.
Okay, Donnie, the SRF Weekend Warriors League.
Yeah, I'm actually cruising the website right now. Let me go back. It looks like somebody posted it, but I'm on the website for the SRF Weekend Warriors Race League. It's actually from a listener, so I need to go back and
Yeah,
take a look
Jeff
if I don't find it.
Wubker sent
Yeah,
this
there you
in.
go. So I'm looking at the website. They have three different classes. They have the Spec Racer Ford, the Formula V, and the Ray 1600. And I'm actually super impressed with the website itself. That's what I look for sometimes when I'm looking at a league. It's been around a long time. They said in that post, Mike, that the league's celebrating its 10-year anniversary. It looks fun, and you know what? I don't know if you guys have driven this car in a while. Every time I do drive it, whenever I get that winter road racing itch, I usually run this car, and it's a lot of fun. It's like a car that feels like you can go out and possibly buy, depending on where you at in life or where you're at in life, and take it out on the weekends if you could. It's a fun little car.
It's sounds like a neat league. I like the idea of running these lesser powered, open wheel cars. Yeah, I'll have to check the times and see if this works out for me. If it's on a Saturday night after work, I might be interested. And then Brad, this week in iRacing.
Yep. So we've got the NASCAR iRacing Series is at Las Vegas. We've got the Dirt Sprint Car Tour and Late Model is back in rotation this week. I know Donnie's been doing some of the Super Late Model Tour, so that's at Myrtle Beach this week. And then we got the Vintage Grand Prix is at Watkins Glen. So no special events this week. Got a couple weeks off before what do we got? We got something coming up on the 21st. I can't remember what it is. Oh, I think it's the MX5s at Martinsville is the next special event.
Ooh. Podcast housekeeping. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform to make it easier for more listeners to find the podcast. Mention the podcast to your fellow drivers so they don't miss out. We would appreciate it. Get involved in the discussion over there at our Discord. Lots of chat going on about hardware and different things. And our website for the show notes, iRacersLounge.com. We are in regular rotation at Performance Motorsports Network. And don't forget your merchandise. You can get your hats and t-shirts at iRacersLounge.shop. Fantasy. What do you think? Brad, you're at the top of the list. How did this happen?
A blind squirrel will find a nut every now and then. So, yeah, the Cup Series rolled into the Roval this past weekend. So just like I said, blind squirrel will find a nut every now and then. What I did take the win, 264 points. Second was JTC 11C. Third, tied for third, Smiling Ninja and Race Addict. And then fifth was Cletus 545. I do want to give a shout out to Bobby Jonas with the seventh place finish. Um, I really don't remember who I had in my lineup, but I got pretty lucky. I think things kind of fell the way they were supposed to. Of course, I did have Shane in there, but why wouldn't you put Shane in there? Um, so uh, I'm going to agree with Dale Jr. I'm rovaled out. We need to move away from the roval and get back to the oval. It's run its course, and yeah, I'm done with it.
I am too.
Yeah, I was listening to Dale Jr. and Danny and all them, and just some of their co-hosts kept talking about how exciting, and it wasn't exciting because of the track. It was exciting because you had a race for the final playoff spot. The track had nothing to do with it, and it was freaking awful. And I wish I hadn't watched it.
You know, I was listening to Denny William, and I was thinking of you, and he says so much without really. I don't know. He just says so much without saying anything sometimes.
Well, we went a few years ago and went to the fall race to the Roval, and I got free tickets, and that's why we went. And it was, yeah, it was pretty boring, to be honest with you. It's just it's we don't look that's a great venue, and especially with this car. As much as we complain about the next gen car, for God's sakes, it's a mile and a half. We
It
need to be running it at the mile and a half.
it makes no sense, but then again, with NASCAR and SMI and these folks, it does make perfect sense because it's been 4 years now of awesome mile and a half racing. That's like the only thing they can figure out right now. And but they'll still go to the Roval. Like, did they sign a deal with Bank of America saying and they want the Roval? What's there has to be something on the backside forcing them to run this Roval.
Playoffs, playoffs, playoffs.
Yeah, they say it's NASCAR wants the road course in the playoffs, and this is the only one time of weather wise that makes sense.
They
That
said that, but it's not a NASCAR. Like, I would be like, you're not. I won't run my road course here. Oh, you guys run your own road course.
Well, then SMI would lose a date.
yeah, then SMI loses that revenue and all that. The only other one they could do is Sonoma, but apparently that's not going to work for this time of year for some reason. I don't know.
So
So they don't have an agreement of 5-5 with these playoffs, but they'll dictate
Uh,
what kind of track you run.
couldn't tell you what's going on behind the scenes, to be honest, but that's what they were speculating on Actions Detrimental.
well, look, let's talk about behind the scenes. There's been a change. Have y'all noticed? I mean, we so first of all, they fired the director, Juson Hamilton, the race director. Now we know we're going to have 750 horsepower. They might change the points back to the old school 36-week points. Something's changed, and the lawsuit. They're ready to settle the lawsuit all of
Well,
a sudden.
I think they've been ready to settle the
NASCAR's been
lawsuit
ready to
all
settle
along.
for a
Yeah,
while. This
Well, good
hasn't
point.
been 2311.
I think they're starting to finally listen and look at TV ratings and understand that the bulk of their fans have left. And when you're pulling in horrible numbers every single week, I mean, we've had weeks where we're only a few 100,000 above the Xfinity Series. Um, I just think they're finally starting to listen, and good. They should have. They should have listened 3 years ago. Um, you know, it's just taking too long, and I don't know how many fans may not come back. We can blame whatever we want to blame on it, but there's certain people that will sit down and watch a race. There's certain people that won't, and I think that they've taken the last few years and have tried to focus so much on gaining people that don't normally watch racing, and they're just not going to. They're not going to stay. They're not going to watch. It's this isn't football. It's racing. It's still a niche sport, no matter how you look at it.
Did you find O'Donnell's interview pandering or genuine?
So I really liked it in the beginning. I thought it was really good, but after a while, I felt like he started just talking out of both sides of his mouth a little bit. I know there's some stuff he couldn't say, but we got some good insight. Like he says, 750 is the highest they felt comfortable going because once you go past that, you just have to start changing aero and tire and all that, and that's a multi-year process. So I thought that was good insight, but then he backtracks a little bit later, and I don't know. What later in the interview, I didn't think it was quite as strong.
So he look, I was impressed that he admitted that they've made mistakes, and it was almost an apology, of things they've done wrong in the past. But from my perspective, he's part of the problem. I mean, I'll say it on Twitter all the time to him, straight to NASCAR's Twitter account. The top management needs to be cleaned out. They need to really change out what's happening. There's been a lot of bad decisions, and I just, he's part of it. Got to go.
Well, the ones that are running it have been there for years and years and years and years. I mean, I think
Right.
O'Donnell's been there almost 30 years. So, and he's come up through the grassroots. He's come up and worked all facets of the of it. And look, every company deals with this. We go through it with our company. Um, there people come up, they want to go a direction, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out. um, you know what what makes people happy is when you realize that if you do mess up, you say, hey, we messed up and we need to fix it, and let's work on getting it back to where it should have been.
Yeah, with the mindset, especially like, um, you just have to. You never know what's going to come next. If you start getting rid of everybody, you don't know who's going to come in and replace them and what direction they could take it in. So maybe getting rid of everybody wouldn't be the best call, but you have to think of what's the potential option coming in.
Yep. So back to the race. We'll close that out here. Biggest news came in with the last few laps coming down with Rouse Chastain and Joey Logano and Chastain getting past by Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin says he didn't realize what he was doing or what the points were, and you know Ross, Hale rolls it into the last turn and wrecks Denny trying to get his spots back and ends up, Joey Logano again ekes his way in somehow, and I don't know.
Question
I'm done with the entire the 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 whole premise of where we're manipulating races. As I told my wife, if I was Denny Hamlin, the last person I want getting through is Joey Logano, and that's a strategic move that you have to make in order to keep him out. Is that manipulating? No, I don't think it's manipulating when you do stuff like that, but I don't know.
question for you. So that last move by Chastain, did he get his final finishing spot? Nothing happened to him. He didn't get demoted to the next lap. Okay. So did you guys watch the truck race at all? Am I the only one?
No, I watched it.
Okay. What about Majeski wiping out 4 guys on turn 7 back there? When are we gonna stop that? When are we gonna not let that happen going forward?
It's NASCAR, so
So embarrassing.
it is, but that's NASCAR. I mean, that's that. I mean, look, we we move restart lines back at tracks to protect the drivers from themselves because they drive like idiots into turn one, i.e., Coda, Watkins Glen. Instead of just officiating, but as we've discussed in the Discord, they can't tell when to throw a caution. The last thing I want them to do is to try to put judgment on somebody. They can't get throwing a caution right. The last thing I want them to do is to try to say somebody was right or wrong. So they again, it's they're too inconsistent with everything.
So Vegas, what do we got? Probably Penske, Hendricks, Gibbs.
All I know is I want this point system to go away. So I'm hoping that Logano goes out and wins next Sunday, and that gets through to the final four, wins the championship, and we finally say enough is enough. That's 22's got 22 is who I'm banking on.
Right, the 22 is our new clown champion. I mean,
I'm a bit of a homer, but Blaney was probably the fastest car in March with a backup car until he wrecked himself later on in the race. So if he can have a clean practice in qualifying, I would expect him to at least be in the top 3 up there somewhere.
William will probably pick the best lineup and score the most points next week, so he should
I think
probably
the
give us
Toyotas
some
will be
ideas.
strong. Larson has not been great for most of the year, but I think the last couple of weeks, excluding the Roval, I mean he was good at the Roval too, but you can't really count that. I think he's coming back a little bit, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't pick the Roval right, so
Well, I think the 24 is out to lunch, and I don't think Chase is that great either. He walked into that one on at Kansas, so. But overall league standings as we leave the Roval, Mike Wuju still has the lead, 61-45 to 6100, so 45-point lead over Resdog. Third is Team Dwayne. Fourth, tied for fourth, we have Team Terry and Mud Dog. So there you go. We'll give you an update next week.
hardware, software. I got an ambient light diffuser from Simfire at simfire.co.uk. It's a Govee light bar shade diffuser. Brad, you had your eye on this, right?
Yep, I threw this on the script, and I have 4 of them coming to me. So I ran across this on the Daniel Newman Discord under their ambient light section, and my one issue with the 4 that I have is that they, while I think they do a pretty good job, the light just kind of goes everywhere. So I saw these. I said, you know what? I'm going to try this. I reached out to the guy that runs this. I believe it was Andy, and we emailed back and forth quite a bit. So I told him we were going to discuss the product this week, and I told him I had ordered a set of them, and I can't wait to kind of give a review. If you look at if you go to the website, I mean, you can see the difference that it makes. So what I'm hoping to be able to do is to direct my lights a little bit more um, at me in certain areas, just to try to get a little bit more realistic light coming through into the car. So we'll see. It's wasn't super cheap, wasn't super expensive. It could be a bust, but I don't think it will. So I'm excited to get them.
So with or
Uh,
without the fins did you
I
order?
got I got the fins.
And
yeah, let me know how they work.
the fins are like so you can point it, right?
Yeah, yeah. The fins are already preset, but at least it'll kind of move it a little bit. So yeah, like I said, they're supposed to be here next week. Um, so yeah, I'll let you know. I'll give a full review on the next show. Because I told him I would follow up with him as well. So
Yeah, last weekend I finally bought the extenders to do mine right and got around to setting them up after I redid my computer after the Road Atlanta fiasco. And I've been struggling to get it exactly right to how I like it. I'm sure it's just some of the settings in SimHub, but I'm having problems getting it like I had it, and some of it is just it's not diffused enough for me. I can see the individual lights out of the corner of my eye. It's a little distracting.
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I had mine up really high, but I would like to try to get like the side lights because I have 4. I have 2 in the front and I have 1 on each side. I would like to try to get the ones on the side down a little bit to where I get more a little bit of the, coming in on the side, which is how it would come in on the car. So that's kind of the goal there, and I think this will help somewhat as opposed to just having this bright kind of light just kind of out of the corner of your eye.
Okay. Brad, we got Vero Motion. Who are they? A video from our friend Mike over at the Sim Racing Den.
Yeah, it's a good video here. We met Mike at the Sim Gaming Expo. So Vero Motion was there as well. They're they have multiple levels of how they do motion. Kind of an entry level, and you kind of work your way up as you watch the video. From different, 3 inches, 4 inches, I think up to like 6 inches of travel, and then you can eventually even throw in the slip angle, which actually pivots the whole chassis. Pretty good video. I like what they do. I thought this was probably one from a realistic something that you could buy to put in your house. This is probably, I think, one of the best ones that they had there. When we say realistic, we're talking, under the 10 grand.
Financially realistic.
Financially, yeah. I mean, again, yes, not that I'm ever going to put $10,000 motion system, but yes, you could afford this as opposed to the 100,000, $130,000 rigs that we saw. But yeah, he does a good job. So he went there to their to where I guess their shop or their headquarters is, and he spent pretty much the whole day. Mike did, on the rigs and really enjoyed it. They've got, I think they use their own software to do it as well. So it's really, it's not just it's not like they're just buying something and bolting it on. They've spent time doing it. They've got belt tensioners. They got all this other stuff that goes with it. So he was thoroughly impressed. And like I said, I think if you're looking from you know a I don't say realistic, but something that you could actually afford, this is probably a good option.
Agreed. Yeah, and it's got the D-box style on each corner, but then, like you said, it's a slip angle on front and back. And when you get it all going together, it really looks cool. Unfortunately, this is the one I did not try at the expo. I think it's one of the very few I didn't try. I'm beating myself up for that. I wish I would have taken a moment to do it.
This was over at the BRS one. Is I think BRS they were teamed up with VRS at the Sim Gaming Expo.
Oh, that's right. And I think I tried one of their stationary rigs, but there was a long line on the motion, so I didn't get to try the motion. And I had problems with the VRS wheelbases clipping the one I was trying, and he didn't understand what clipping meant, so it was kind of awkward. All right, Donnie, how about the Sim Labs reveal #soon?
I feel silly. So I was looking at their original Instagram post, and I'm trying to figure out what on earth is that. And then look down to the other photos, and it's obviously their wheelbase. But yeah, they're teasing I guess this is a rear photo of it. If you can zoom in, there might be some specs on there. But they're going to announce a DDX Torque Sync. Come try it for yourself at the Sim Racing Expo, October 17th, 2025.
Yeah.
Yep. So we were able to try this at the Sim Gaming Expo. Very good. I liked it a lot. Spent quite a bit of time on it. Spent quite a bit of time with Richard talking about it. So definitely excited to see the release and to see the final product, because what we saw was still um, in development. We didn't have the version there.
Is there a purpose for those channels and grooves? Can you attach things to it? I think we've all,
Yes.
at least us
Yes.
Simucube folks, like
Yeah.
the way it looks. I don't mind this one, and I think it might be better looking than the Simucube 3 that's coming out.
Yeah, it's got the channels to where you can actually attach stuff on the sides if you wanted to.
I'm confused here, guys, though, because the DDX 26 was revealed at the Sim Gaming Expo, right? What is Torque Sync?
So I think this is the final torque sync. I think is whatever is, I guess, what's in it, or whatever they're naming it inside.
Their
So what we,
algorithm.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, well, I guess we'll find out in what, 8 days?
yeah. They're debuting this at the Dortmund Sim Racing Expo, 17th.
All right, and then we moving on. William, we have a DIY all 3D printed.
This is a crowdfunding campaign for a all 3D printed, and I can't get to it from the link because I don't have an account, but an all 3D printed wheelbase, pedals,
It
gear
did.
shifter.
Didn't open for you because it opened for me.
Yeah, it's good. It met its goal, and I can't wait to see somebody actually do this. I was just cruising their website, and there's going to be a tournament once you finish your build. It's actually very inexpensive to download all these files. Granted, some of the construction, I can't wait to see what this looks like and what kind of platform they run this on. But I guess once you build you complete your build, very intricate, by the way. You submit yourself into this tournament. I don't know what platform this tournament runs on. I'm looking at the comments right now, and there's a lot of comments, and it looks like there's a lot of folks gonna give this build a go.
So Kyle Pendergraph sent this to us. Kyle has got 3D printing, does that as as a side job, side hustle or whatnot.
Let's send out the challenge.
Yeah, so he had sent this to me as we put on the script. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, so we're talking wheelbase, pedals, shifter, handbrake, everything is all 3D printed.
Yeah, the wheelbase came in three different levels. No motor whatsoever, so you wouldn't have any force feedback, and then a low and a high, or a medium and a high. Um, I want to see it. I want to see it built and see what it's like.
Well, if you're handy and like to build stuff, this would be a really fun project. You could get the plans for only $18.
Is this the most extensive one we've seen so far?
Well, we've seen them build Formula wheels, but this is like the whole package, right? Pedals and the whole nine
Everything.
yards. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't think
Shifter,
we've seen
handbrake.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love my 3D printer, but there's no way in the world I'm printing a full setup with it.
Yeah,
Not
you
happening.
need a pentagraph setup for this. I mean, this is pretty wild. I'm fascinated. I want to see what it looks like when it's all done. Obviously, is some hardware involved. You got springs and whatnot that you'll have to install, or comes with the kit. I'm not sure, but yeah. So if you guys want to take a look at it, makerworld.com.
All right, William, if you started over again, what would you pick?
Forum post by Oscar Pfeiffer. Simple question with a poll. If you sold everything you got and started again, which of, and he lists most of the major manufacturer bases, Mozart 12, Logitech G Pro, CV2 Sport, which one would you pick? And let me get to the poll to see what's leading currently. No surprise, SimiCube Sport is well out in front.
Only at 50%. Now, are they going off your own personal budget, or is this Fantasyland? Because why is that like not 90% over all the other ones?
It's probably more like a popularity contest. A lot of people, they'll see something like this and they'll vote for what they own. Oh, I have Moza. I'm going to vote for Moza.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it would be interesting, So, yeah, I mean, if I just rebuilt everything, back in what 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. So, and even me, only building this 2 years ago, I have regrets in what I bought just because I had been out of it for 7 years, and so much had changed. I'm happy with my rig. It's a Track Racer TR160, but after touching, SimLabs, P1X, and some of the other stuff, oh yeah, I would absolutely go a different route on my rig. Would I go a different route on my base? Yes. There's things I would go a different route. Does it mean that I don't like what I have? Absolutely not. I'm perfectly happy with what I have. But if I was to do it all over again, knowing what I know now, then yes, I would definitely go in a different direction.
I mean, I'm unapologetically on the CinemaCube bandwagon. I just don't think there's anything better out there. So, obviously, that's what I pick. Notable, anything Asetek is missing from the poll. So, I know
Ouch.
that's a pretty popular brand, so that might skew the results a bit.
All right, I got this one. Will Ford reminds us about his website at boostedmedia.net/discounts, coupons, and codes. And so he's got a website here where if you're buying anything sim hardware related, you there's coupons and stuff. Like I'm looking here, Fanatec up to 600 off a bundle, Moza 27% off a bundle, SimiCube 10% off a bundle, etc. And so he's got a lot of deals. And look, they also do affiliate links. I remind now one of our teammates, John Curley, was really thinking about buying a SemiCube today, and I reminded him, hey, go help one of these YouTube channels and click on their affiliate link before you buy it and help them out. And so I want to remind our listeners, hey, if you're buying, take advantage of these discounts if you can find them. And this is a good website to find them, uh, or at least use the affiliate link for Will Ford or Mike over at Sim Racing Den or Oscar at OC Racing. All these guys have affiliate links. Sarah Nochi on her channel. Help them out. Help a brother out. Use their link. Look, you don't pay more money by using an affiliate link, and they get like a kickback or a commission.
Yeah, so he just relaunched this, and the one thing is nice about it's live. The discount tracker and stuff is live, so it's keeping track of prices and stuff. It's a pretty neat website. If you're looking to buy hardware, this is a great resource just to go look at first and try to see what's out there. You can kind of, not only can you look at prices, but then built into that, you've got links to all of his reviews. So if you start looking at something, you go, "Hey, I like that," then you can actually, there's a link there to his review of it, and they do a fantastic job with reviews.
All right. Then Brad, Dave Cam on the SimiCube active pedals.
Yeah, Dave Camp said these are the worst things he's ever bought. He can't
What?
get them to feel good at all. He's sending them back, Mike.
Ain't no way he bought those.
No,
He did not.
There's a clutch there for criminy sakes.
No, I mean he says he's able to hit brake pressure, the same brake pressure that he wants all the time. He's super happy. The consistency is what he likes. So yeah, this is just a kind of just a short. Just Mike puts this up here just to continue to justify his purchase of a Mosley M booster. I think.
That's right.
I don't know, man. Like I keep seeing everybody put these on YouTube and Mike talk about them, and I've gone from firmly in the camp of this is something I will never, ever, ever do to well, maybe someday.
Look, I think the point is,
FOMO.
Yeah,
look,
a little bit.
Dave Cam, he's tried all those pedals. He's tried everything. He's tried all the hydraulics and the load cells and all the popular things that you would buy in the pedal market. And he literally says this: these completely blow all other pedals out of the water with regards to feel consistency, smoothness, and performance. And I think that's saying a lot coming from him as far as the active pedals. And look, the Moza pedals are 95% of what the active pedals from SimiCube are, at least in my opinion. And so I'm not really getting anything too different, but yeah, I am kind of pointing out that these are next gen guys. They really are.
All right, do
Okay.
you want to talk about what SimiCube released today?
Yeah, we probably need to jump ahead for timing reasons. So let's talk SimiCube. I was able to watch the video live. I think Brad, you did as well. Wow. I mean, we still have the Sport, the Pro, and the Ultimate. Pricing was 1,400, 1,600, and 3,300. And so the Pro, that's 25 Newton meter. I think that most people would pick is the $1,600 one. And it's a little bit bigger than the two as far as physically. The quick release looks really rock solid. It doesn't have a proper USB pass through. I think
It has no USB pass through.
right, and so I think they missed the boat on that. We were talking about that in the Discord a little bit today. It does pass power.
Yeah, it's using a different, I guess, what is it? It's lightning something is what they call it. So look, eh, I think they needed to do this. I think this is the next iteration, but it's way too early, I think, to start anybody to start doing pre-orders. A lot of the people that we watch for reviews have hardware. They don't have software yet. So I would not pull the trigger on this yet. I think you need to wait and start to see some of the reviews. They're moving themselves into a completely different direction, and that's building an entire ecosystem is what they're working towards now. They're not just going to be a base and a couple wheels. They've moved themselves into an ecosystem. The way that their quick releases, they're working with other steering wheel manufacturers to where they can create their steering wheel so they will work with the SemiCube 3. Like Mike said, there is no USB pass through, and to me, I think that's a miss. Um, it's I don't know. I was happy to hear what I heard, but at the same time, I was disappointed to hear what I heard as well, from somebody who's thinking about at some point going for a different base. Um, I was disappointed in some of what I heard. I don't want to get so locked into an ecosystem where I can't get out of an ecosystem, and that's I'm hearing more and more of that from what was released today.
But on the flip side, I mean, they give a SemiCube link, I think they call it, which is basically a circuit board that they give to the wheel manufacturers like Bavarian uh, or Gomez or Asher. Those manufacturers are all slated to have this in their wheels. But by using the SemiCube circuit board thing, they can use the new SemiCube quick release natively with the Bavarian wheel or the Gomez wheel or whichever one you pick.
Yeah, you've got the power, you've got all that. So again, I like that they're doing some sort of an open um, architecture there to where it allows other people to come into it. They've announced stuff with Lovely Dashboard, and whatnot. So I just um,
But if you get all the wheel makers involved in it, I think Cube Controls was in the list too. If you get all the ones that you would buy a wheel from involved where they have a semi-cube version, then does it matter?
if you're starting out new, but what if you're happy with your wheel?
Right. You're going to have a cable on it. That's all.
And
Yeah,
what increased price does that make my GSI wheel now? Am I paying more for a
yeah,
SemiCube?
that's the other thing too.
Probably.
They've introduced the SemiCube Link. that came out with the pedals that has to be used. So that's something else now that has to be used along with the base. You know, I don't think we have pricing yet on the quick releases, but my guess is they're probably not going to be cheap. So I guess again, I think it's just still too early to start doing anything yet. I think we need to see some reviews come out. I've watched a couple. We'll throw some more up on the script, and because I'm sure there'll be tons of them over the next few weeks, and we'll thoroughly discuss this. I want to hit it from all sides. You know, we've got SimLab coming out with the new base in a week or so. Look, I said before, I don't think there's any better time to be a sim racer right now. The options are fantastic. You got Moza with a 25 Newton meter wheelbase, so there's great options out there. I think we just need to tap the brake pedal a little bit before we all think that this is the end all be all.
As far as feel, they mentioned what I picked up on a term telemetry feedback is what he called it. And it introduces the feel of ABS, uh, brake shifting, and something else, motor vibration, I think it is. So that's going to be new sliders that are in the software that you can add into the wheelbase. Now, those are the same things that I've been raving about in the Moza Active pedal, and the same thing that we've been feeling in the SimiCube Active pedal as well. And it's neat to see that we have a name for it finally called telemetry feedback, which is driven by telemetry, and that they're introducing it into the wheel. And so I think an open question for me was, will that be backwards compatible to the Pro 2? It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, I don't think so. See, and this is where, like I said, with I've got Sim Magic Alpha. They've released the Evo line, so all of the firmware, all the updates is nothing about the Evo. So again, what you kind of got is what you got. Like you talk about the gear shift and the stuff like that, in the wheel. Well, I get that with the Marvin's awesome iRacing app. So I don't. I mean, there's certain things I think we could even get right now. So um, again, like I said, I think still pretty early. I think we need to get some more information, and let's see. But again, I think anybody, I think we're in a good spot in the sim racing world right now.
Well, look, if you're looking to buy a wheelbase, this has to be your top two. I mean, choices at least, or in the top three. And like you said, it might be premature to order, but there's going to be a lot of people that are on the pre-order, and you got to wonder about stock. If you're worried about getting one of these this year, I don't know if you'd wait.
Yeah. So along with the wheelbase, they've got two new wheels. They've got the Savu. So they have a higher end one, and then I guess they have a sport and a pro. I don't remember what they called them exactly. I think the one without the LEDs and the extra rotaries and stuff was, I think, around 900 or so. The high end one I think was around 1300.
Say
So they're
what?
pretty. Yes.
I
So it's
stay in
Simicube.
your
You know
lane.
you
Stay in your
you
lane.
know they've always made wheels. So we've got a couple of things on the script here. We've also got a video here from Will Ford. He's got the stuff in his hands, but he doesn't again can't use any of it yet. Um, so, but yeah, we'll have more again as the weeks go on and more content comes, and we'll continue to discuss this. And I'm paying particular attention to a lot of the stuff because again, I'm in that market to where I'm probably buying a wheelbase next year. So I want to make the most educated choice because I want to do it one time. That's
One
it.
other time.
One other time, yes. Thank you. I want to do the final purchase and be done. So, um, but
I'm looking at this bundle down below, and it looks like their box. I'm sure that connects things. It's an RJ11 jack. It looks like.
Yeah, Ethernet.
yeah, that
What?
that's the link. So you would in the Ethernet jack connects to the back of the wheel, and then if all you have is the wheel, then you're good. But if you've got pedals, then you have to buy basically an Ethernet switch that you'll have to put somewhere to hook your other peripheral, you hook your other SemiCube stuff up to. Yeah. See, do you see what I'm saying? It's not just the $1,600. We got to have $100 link, and then we're going to have to go buy this. We're going to have to go buy
The
this.
quick release stuff, yeah.
This is where you get nickel and dime to death, and this is
Is
my frustration.
RJ11 the best technology for that?
I understand what it does is it gives you one USB
For
going to
all
your
your
computer
stuff,
for
right?
all your SemiCube stuff. So I can somewhat understand that, but I can pick up a powered USB hub for $50 and I can put 16 things in there and I don't have any issues. That's cheaper than
So
buying this.
part of their spiel during their presentation was one click racing is what they kept saying. Where and their idea was the integration with these other companies, the lovely Sim Dash, the Bavarian Sim Wheel. Like if those were your products, those are and so the Bavarian software is literally going to be integrated into the SimiCube software. And so and then later Cube Controls and Gomez and all those are coming on board too. And those so the idea would be you have one software to run it all. You fire that up and everything's running. And so if they can get all the manufacturers on board of all these other peripherals, I think they're really onto something about as far as trying to make an ecosystem.
So okay,
Dollars.
I'm a little behind on the technology and whatnot, but what is wrong with my SimiCube 2 that I can bolt anything I want to it? And I could just obviously run a cable to where I got to run it, but I don't know. Is it overcomplicating things or for the average person?
Well, I think
I guess the average person ain't buying this.
they had to do something because all your other manufacturers are going to a
Wireless, quick
wireless
release.
USB pass through stuff like that. They had to do something. I mean that otherwise, th- yeah. I mean you have to do something. And the other thing was there's thoughts that the parts to build the SemiCube twos they're struggling to get the parts. I mean things markets change and stuff goes out of date or you stop manufacturing certain things because of evolution of products. So I'm sure that played into it as well.
Well, to your point, Donnie, are you and I going to buy it because we already have the SimiCube 2 Pro? I don't think we are. I don't think anybody
I was looking
who's
at
going to upgrade.
I was looking up the motor today that's in the SemiCube 2, and it even like unlimited usage like that. I mean, you use yours quite a bit, but for me, limited. They said it should last over a decade. The motor itself. Now, granted, software support might not be there 10 years down the road. Obviously, they'll be on probably 4 by then.
Well, but that's the whole purpose of going to a direct drive. It's a servo motor. I mean, servo motors are designed to be used in industrial applications where it's nonstop. I mean, it never stops moving. So again,
Should last forever.
yeah, in theory, yes, almost lasts forever. I mean, we use servos at work and a lot of our production equipment, and again, they should, in theory, almost last forever because they're brushless. There's no moving parts. It's all magnetic. There's no wear. There's no tear. Um, so we'll see. Mike, you want to hit these shifters real quick before we head to the results?
Yeah, so we had the Sim Rioto store show off their shifter here. It's a 7 plus reverse gear shifter, realistic manual transmission feel, and it's new. It says the wait is over, and the gear shift is now live. CNC machined, plug and play, built for long lasting performance at simrioto.com.
Yep. And then we've got the Simpson USB 6 Plus reverse shifter. So from gear to gear, pursue perfection every lap. So Simpson, we've talked about them. The pedals. Mike's got their pedals. They branched out into some peripherals. This doesn't look bad. Looks, I don't, it's hard to tell construction wise. It looks like it's probably cast aluminum.
So look, Simpson is a Chinese knockoff of other products. Which one is this one trying to emulate?
I don't know. I mean, it's a looks like somewhat of a almost gated shifter. It's it's a manual, so but it looks like you get some and maybe some interchangeable knobs as well. So you know, not bad. So it's going to come in probably on the lower cost side. That's what they do. So it just gives you some options. We've talked about the BDH and all of the super expensive H shifters. I would, again, at the end of the day, how much, I don't know. I don't need tactile feedback per se from my shifter. I spend more time with my hands on my wheel.
Look, if you're in a budget situation and you need it sim racing equipment, there's nothing wrong with Simpson. I mean, pedals, shifter, they have all kinds of stuff now. So, um, yeah, it's like I said, Chinese knockoff stuff, but it works.
I'm on their website right now, and they've got quite a bit of stuff, and their prices are obviously knockoffs. But they have knockoffs of Sim Magic, the haptics for your pedals, and they look exactly the same. Reminds me of Lepin in Lego. Lego's Lego, obviously, and Lepin is this Chinese knockoff that they must have stolen the Lego molds because they are like perfect.
Identical, right?
They're perfect replicas. And I have a couple Lepin sets because it saved me almost $1,000 on some of these sets. I just want to try it out, and they're like, yeah, no joke. The Star Destroyer above me is $1,300. That's a Lego version up there, but the Lepin version is only like 80. But I didn't want to either way. But yeah, Simson, they have a website. You can go check it out.
All right, let's jump to results. Talk NASCAR iRacing series. Right, jumping to Wednesday Open NIS at Vegas. Tony Rochette self-spun too many times. I was fast, but the new harder bumps in 1 and 2 are more defined. I kept spinning out on the high side, saved it a few times, but didn't save it the last time. Into the wall and ended my night. David Hall wrecked out by someone not rejoining safely. The protest went through, but I don't know his penalty.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a rejoin. That was just somebody using the apron at Vegas. It's pretty typical.
I ran Thursday Open, basically wrecked out. I did the same thing, Tony. I spun over the bumps unexpectedly, overcorrected, stuffed it in the wall hard. More than once I spun, so I was a little embarrassed. What I learned is you can't turn that wheel more than 10% no matter what, or it's coming around. Okay, moving on to Gen 4. I ran P4 at Atlanta, top split. Started 17th, worked my way up to the top 5, drove my ass off, sweating like a pig, made no mistakes, and brought it home P4. I was super proud of that top split. This car is so hard to drive and be good at. I ran it again, top split again. Started 13th, finished P10. Green flag run the whole way, no cautions. Ran my butt off again and got what I deserved, which was a top 10. Wednesday night, started a race right after dinner without starting up all my apps, apparently. And I had no force feedback, so I had to actually DNF and stop the race after wrecking. That was kind of embarrassing.
Why don't you use like the iRacing manager to start all your stuff?
I do, and I had actually forgot to push the button. So I was in such a hurry. I sat down, I gritted. I thought I had pushed the button, and by the time I was rolling off,
Push
yeah,
the button
so
for what? Push the button for what?
to start up all the apps. So I didn't start the button to start all the apps, the Marvins and the SimiCube and the Moza and all that.
So that's what I'm saying. iRacing Manager runs in the background, and every time I fire iRacing, it fires everything up for me. And when I get out, it shuts everything down.
Oh, so I have a button on my Stream Deck to turn everything on. So I just had forgotten to
Oh,
push the button. So then we were rolling off and I was already rolling. I went ahead, pushed the button, and then because I had 15 things opening at once, the screen froze and I ended up in the wall. So yeah, it was ugly. But moving on to the next one, started P6 and spun myself at the end. I took the nose off, was still able to finish P7. Moving on, Donnie, you got listed here. Be open. Is that Roval in Vegas?
Just the roll from last week. It was an anomaly for me on any kind of NASCAR road course. It was, I think, the only split or maybe top split, but I ended up coming away with 90 points. Granted, I'm not rooting for a championship in that series right now, but I went back and looked, spent some time, nerded out a little bit. I've never scored anywhere like above 40 points in a NASCAR road course race. So kind of optimistic about next year potentially scoring some points and not just using those as drop weeks. But I think I finished it's like P8 and 0x throughout the whole thing. Wasn't too bad. I was just shocked on how many points I earned out of that race.
And then late model stock, Martinsville and Lanier.
Yep, I have a love-hate relationship with this car, but I finally went open. Usually I run fixed, and I just got way too tight, and I would get discouraged. I wouldn't want to run it, and then I don't have the time to build my own car. So I found a old school motorsports OSR. Used to be a website. You can go to their page and get free sets, but now they're he's behind a paywall. I take it, but it's on Discord. It was only $2 to subscribe to the service or whatever. And yeah, it was all the short track setups for asphalt and oval. And I tried it out at both Martinsville and Lanier. And for Martinsville specifically, I was a half a second faster and maintaining speed all the way through. So I've been hanging in the top splits, which is kind of surprising. Top 10, top fives. I ran Lanier and I was top four-ish throughout the whole race. So I've actually been enjoying it. Throughout the 6 races I've run, very little cautions, very little incidents, and I'm excited. I need to find something, and I think this is going to be it. I love the short tracks. I'm just not very good at it, but it's something I want to be good at.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right, let's talk about my Ringmeister in the new Dallara IL-15 Indy next. Started P5. Well, first we finished up the skip barbers. I started P5 in the skip barber and finished P5. Then the next race started fourth, was wrecked out in a foolish move and hit the wall and killed the car, DNF. Then I qualified top split. Some guy wants to go side by side and turn one, lap one, and decided to go over the curbs and wreck the field, and I get collected. I couldn't even get to turn two. So then Monday night, we switched to the new Dallara IL-15. Started at the back, worked my way up to about 18th, and then the car in front of me pounded the wall hard. It came back across the track. I had nowhere to go. I T-boned DNF. Then I started 21st out of 29, brought it home P16 after spinning once but not wrecking. Finally, I got to finish. And then I started 12th out of 22, got up to 7th by lap 1, but then self-spun by myself, no damage, was able to finish P6. That actually is my best finish so far. Then next race wrecked out in lap 1, DNF. Next one started 16th, ended up spinning at one point and finishing P12, and then finally made my third attempt to qualify. I finally got a lap in, very respectable, a sub 6 minutes. It was 5:59.4. I don't know. That 6 minute mark is hard to get to at the Nordschleife, and so to get under it, I was feeling pretty good until I got in a race later and I saw the pole sitter was at a 5:53. I'm some 6 seconds off pole, but yeah, it felt good anyway. Petit Lamar, David Hall, podium P3, ran with Altitude Esports with a listener. We got wrecked out the first start time. We started second and also got wrecked by a GT3 just turning right out of turn 7. But we made it up to P3. The track is good for me, and I was running out of 2.5K drivers. IMSA, Brad, P9, Road Atlanta.
Yeah, so I was out of town all last week. Did manage to got back for the weekend. Got at least one start in at Road Atlanta. I like the track. I think I've shared before. It's just that's never been had very good finishes here, but managed to start P31. Had a huge GT3 field. Started P31. I think it was like 37 altogether. It was crazy. Horrible qualifying. I was like, oh boy. I said this is going to be a disaster. So just kind of settled in, put my head down. Was able to keep the nose clean, avoid a lot of the cartage early on. So it's quite a bit of it. Um, this was another race where there's a big gap between the strength of field between classes, and that unfortunately made my gaining spots a little bit easier because there was quite a bit of mayhem as soon as traffic caught us. So yeah, it wasn't a bad race, wasn't a fantastic race. I was super happy with the finish, and to come from 31st, because I definitely figured I was going to take a big IR hit here, because even I think I was probably, I don't know, car 5 or something. I mean, that's how crazy the swing was on the I rating. So, and then P6 last night at Imola. So started P11, much smaller field, only had 17 cars in the GT3s. I've had this track for a long time. I've turned a bunch of laps, so I've never actually raced it. So super easy to pick up off tracks. This makes the original Spa look like you don't get off tracks. And I was messaging with William. It seems like it's just all you run is just a tad bit wide in a few corners, and you'll pick up an off track. But again, another race where a big split on the strength of field. You know, I think we were 2,200 in GT3s and like 15 or something, 1,600 in some of the prototypes, and guys just making really late throws and got pushed off a few times. I'm using um, uh, William. I've been using that overlay that you had suggested.
Oh, Vince.
Beneficial, yeah. And I can look and I see somebody coming behind me, and I can see in a prototype. When I look and I see a 1.4 I rating, I'm like, oh my gosh, just catch me early, please, on the straight. But so yeah, was going to finish P7th, but got gifted P6. Guy ended up having a black flag, so don't know for what for, but I'll take it and move on. I'm trying to get a couple more here. I like the track, just need to do a little bit better job on myself. Really beat myself up last night on just making silly mistakes. So like you were talking, William, earlier, you just kind of try to figure, look, I'm getting into higher splits. Let me just go ahead and set a goal. And for me, it's the top 10. And I was running in 7th, pushing really hard, trying to get to 6, and getting off tracks. And I was like, you know what? Just let's settle back here and just let's go home with a P7 and we'll be okay.
All right, William, P7.
Yeah, I haven't done Emily yet for IMSA this week. I did 3 races at Road Atlanta since we last were on. P7, P23, and P6. P7. Well, let me start off by saying Road Atlanta, obviously my home track, my favorite track. I love the track, but I just cannot seem to catch a break. Hold on, my screen just went black for some reason. I can't seem to catch a break on the track. It is one thing or the other. I mean, people just pushing, acting like they're Max Verstappen and just pushing you off, not leaving room on the exit of a corner. Happened twice during this race. I didn't wreck, but went off track and had to gather it. Lost some spots. P7 is respectable, but I mean, my pace I felt like was better for that one. And here is where I'll go on a little bit of a mini rant, kind of similar to Brad. And JD, if you're listening, I know you've been in the Discord kind of with some of the similar stuff. I'm going to complain here, and I don't have a solution. I don't know what the answer is, but iRacing, for the love of God, stop putting 1,000 to 1,500 I-rated prototypes in splits with 3K SOF GT3s. It doesn't work. They have no idea how to make a pass. They either dive bomb you and hit you, or they don't get to you soon enough, and they don't understand that it's quicker for both of you for them to just wait till after the corner to make the move. You'll both lose less time, not just them. Um, so, I mean, for example, out of Road Atlanta, in a P2, if you're not on the inside of a GT3 coming out of turn 6 and you try to make that move going into turn 7, 90% of the time you just made it slower for both of you. And they just don't understand it. It's just awful traffic. It cost me so many spots. I'm still salty about it, in case you can't tell.
Would you
Then-
prefer them to kind of like in the special events, if you're in a low I rating, you just kind of get grouped with the same car? It sucks to run 24 hours against your same class, but would you prefer that over having the 1K missiles?
Well, that's the reason I say I don't have a good answer for it, because you can't do that in the top 2 or 3 splits, right? You can't have your premier IMSA series running top split with just DG3s. So I honestly I don't have a good answer for it, but it is driving me nuts. And this race going into turn 10, 1200 iRate. For some reason he's in the split. 1200 iRating P2 dives me going into the hair or the chicane. I have to basically stop on track so he doesn't clear both of us out. And then GT3 that's a lap down behind me just decides to run right through me coming out of the turn. So that's 12 minutes of damage. It's the first race I didn't finish in, I'd say, almost a year. I normally would go back out just to salvage safety rating, but I just closed the sim. Um, P6 again, can't really catch a break. I was third with about 10 minutes to go. I'm catching P2. I'm going to make the pass before the end of the race, and then going into turn 10 again. Screen just freezes for 15 seconds. I have no input. I can hear it. I luckily was in the slowest part of the track, so I got off track without hitting anything. But it caused me to go down to ninth from third, and I was able to get back to sixth by the end of the race. But you know, still sucks. And then this race, I'm surprised I didn't protested, or maybe I did, and iRacing just told them to pound sand. But I got tired of people pushing me off on the outside of a turn, so guy tried it on lap two in this race. I held my line, didn't move, and he just cleared himself off my nose and destroyed his car. I think he went flipping over the wall outside of the last turn.
Whoops.
Um, yes, I was just tired of it. Like I said, maybe he did protest me, and iRacing just told him tough. But I was tired of it. So
What?
frustrating. I mean, got a couple good results, but overall, just kind of a frustrating 3 races for me.
So how you gonna fix the freezing?
I I don't know. It is the only time it happened. I don't know if it was just a one-time thing. Since I redid my computer from our last Road Atlanta League race, I haven't had a single problem until then. So I'm hoping it was just Windows did something in the background or some program, you know, took too much of the computer power for just a half second and caused the freeze. So hopefully it's just that.
All right, let's talk leagues. Elbows out racing league. P7.
Yep. Imola P7. I unlike Brad, I've raced this quite a lot, and I love Imola. But I haven't raced it in a while, and I probably should have practiced more before I got in because I was very slow in qualifying. I started P16, which is a little far back, and that meant I got caught up in turn two carnage that goes on. I think fifth place got spun. Didn't hold his brakes until he was in the middle of the track. And then the car in front of me and me had nowhere to go. Didn't really get any damage off of it, but we had to stop and lost. I think I fell to like 26th or 27th. So I spent the rest of the race just trying to claw that back. Found some pace back to where I'm used to being in this league. Like I said, I think I said it last time. The racing at the top is really good, but some of the lower is bad. Prototype field, I kind of felt like I was racing in an official with some of the dives they made and inability to finish a pass cleanly. But overall, I've had fun. Um, good result. I just again wish I'd done better in qualifying, so I could have missed most of that.
All right, I ran some hosted. Chris McGuire, old IndyCar at the new Atlanta. Started 43rd out of 45 and finished P8. Great run. Then we switched to 87s at Daytona, 14th out of 34, and I finished P2. I was right there at the end, but didn't have enough to get there. A great run nonetheless, P2. And then old supercars at Atlanta finished P2 again. Almost got that win. So close. Final thoughts, Brad Wren.
Um, so yeah, I just want to kind of do a little bit of a preview for next week. So when we went to San Gamma Expo, we met a lot of great people. So we're going to have one of the first guests from somebody we met there. So we're going to have Brett from Maverick Solutions on. Brett is building some very unique sim rigs. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But really impressed with what he's doing, and I want to share it with listeners. I think he's filling a need that is nobody else, I think, anywhere in the ecosphere is filling for anybody. So look forward to chatting with Brett next week. I think it's going to be a good interview, and I think you guys are going to be thoroughly impressed with some of the stuff that he's doing. So looking forward to that. Going to get that all nailed down this week, and David posted his frustration with A Open the other night, and I think I sent back a quick AI generated picture of me sitting in an IMSA car smiling, saying having fun in IMSA. So yeah, I'm not missing Oval at all. It's wonderful. I don't go to bed frustrated and angry anymore. It's nice. I'm enjoying iRacing.
Man, wait for that 750 horsepower and let's reevaluate. All right, Donnie Hall, final thought.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying the short track racing and whatnot. Mike, I am on the Simson website. I've been looking at it the entire time we've been talking through results, and kind of impressed. Obviously, it's based out of the UK, so I'm kind of curious on. I need to know more about this company. The phone number comes out of the UK. It ships, I think, out of the UK, and the address is from the UK. They have a wheelbase on here that says coming soon. So I'm
Wow.
curious what that's going to be all about and what type.
I'll be curious which one it looks just like.
It's a square. You kind of have like the shade that uh, I'm pretty sure they're going to copy the. We'll see. But I'm curious. I want to see what this stuff's all about. Other than that, no. I'm just enjoying being back here on a regular basis. I won't be able to be here next week. I'll be in San Antonio for my boys' graduation from Air Force basic training. So I'll miss next week, but I should be back on a more regular basis.
Awesome. Congratulations, Donnie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
exciting.
As far as the Simpson stuff, I bought those pedals from Amazon uh, uh, more than a year ago, and I wonder if maybe they got bought out or something. And like you said, they have a UK presence now. Back then, I don't think they did. When I bought that off Amazon, I got a box literally shipped from China. It had Mandarin Chinese all over it, on the labeling and everything. So I don't think it came through Europe at all. All right, William Westbrook, final thought.
Donnie brought this up a little bit earlier in his results. So we got some sad news this week. Linear Raceway is going to be closing. Um, it's the short track. It's directly across the street from Road Atlanta. In fact, during Petite, they use it and its parking for Petite. Um, it hasn't actually been a functioning racetrack for a couple years now. The people who bought it 3 or 4 years ago paved the infield, got rid of everything in the infield, and made it like a drifting center, and just kind of Friday night hosted or whatever they kind of came out and did. But it's still sad. It ran Xfinity for uh, a few years in the '90s. Jeff Gordon ran there, and it's just sad to see another grassroots track going away. The plans I've seen for it basically is going to be amenities for Road Atlanta, hotel and amphitheater and stuff. And then we got a rumor shortly ago that some of the plans that they're drawing up for actually include leaving the track, but most of everything I've seen having it get bulldozed. So just another sad grassroots track. It's gonna probably see its last days.
Well, at least we got it in iRacing, right?
Yep.
All right. My final thought. Back to real NASCAR, real quick. I got to give a shout out to SVG, and I appreciate Denny Hamlin and others stepping up and giving him kudos. There's so much talk during that race, and like we talked about the race quite a bit, and we didn't even mention the winner, SVG. We didn't even mention him. But look, for him to pull off what he's done, winning all those road course races, and him being, several tenths still ahead of everybody else, you got to give the guy props. Look, I knew
Tenths. Whoa. Seconds.
Second.
He ain't tenths. He's seconds ahead.
seconds ahead. Okay. So look, you got to give him props. I knew when I raced him on iRacing and the NIS series that he was alien speed, and he is proving it today. So yeah, just shout out to him. What else? A big day in the sim racing industry. It really is when the gold standard company for wheelbases announces a new product. And so, yeah, like Brad said, take it with a bit of caution. I think this is going to be the go-to base, based on their reputation and everything. It'll probably play out to be a really good buy, and it will be the one to choose probably, for that one and done purchase. So looking forward to see how that shakes out. I don't think I'm going to see myself upgrading, but it's fun to watch. And with that, we'll see you on the track later. All right, we got 6 title ideas.
You want to stop the recording?